Hello and welcome to Export Exchange 2020. I'm Wayne Cleveland and I serve as Executive Director of the Texas Grain Sorghum Producers. This year has been quite challenging for our producers growing grain sorghum. A number of weather incidents as well as market incidents has made this quite an interesting year. We think we have a good grain sorghum crop. A lot of it's already left for export markets. And the good news is we've seen tough times like this before. Over my shoulder is a picture of my grandfather taken in 1932. This was probably the worst era of American agriculture, quite often referred to as the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression. We made it through then and we'll make it through here just as you will. I'd ask that you come right along with me today quickly, as we only have a small amount of time, and let's talk about grain sorghum and some of the things that are going on in Texas. So now we're at a country elevator in South Texas. This grain sorghum actually came from on-farm storage. Now out at a country elevator and it's headed to a terminal elevator, which eventually will be loaded into a boat. Behind me, grain sorghum is being loaded into the boat. The next time this grain sorghum sees the light of day, it'll be in China. So if you ship grain sorghum out of the United States, chances are that it's going to come through Texas. Approximately 80% of the grain sorghum that leaves the United States for export markets ends up here at the Texas coast. Today we're at the port of Brownsville. These are boats that are headed to China. These vessels each carry about 33,000 metric tons. So now I'm standing in this grain sorghum field, and it's actually a pretty good grain sorghum field, which is not unusual for this time of the year given the size of Texas. What's very interesting is this grain sorghum field's in the valley. Usually grain sorghum's cut during July and August. But what's interesting about this is called a fall crop of grain sorghum. So what happens is the growers will actually plant two crops in one year. This is the only part of the United States that they can do that, just because of the growing season. We're in the furthermost southern point of Texas. What this indicates is that growers understand the market for grain sorghum. They understand that there's demand for grain sorghum out there and that they're willing to plant more grain sorghum. While it's a little too early to anticipate what our acres will be next year, by talking to our growers and our boards of directors in the industry, we certainly anticipate a large increase in the acres just due to the price, the supply and demand situation, and growers really like growing grain sorghum. So welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the small tour of South Texas. You got to see some old things and some new things. This is part of the tour that I enjoy the most. Some of you have been here before. This is my backyard. We have a lot of barbecue here. We have a lot of our growers that come in. We eat barbecue, we talk about what we saw, but mostly we share what we have in common, which is feeding the world. We love having people put together. Our growers love being with the end users. We love exchanging those ideals. We look forward to a better future next year. We think we have a lot of good things coming up in the sorghum world. We look forward to talking to you about them in our booth as you guys start to look around a little bit, virtually of course. And we look forward to having you back in the coming year. And you're always welcome to come to Texas. And we hope you continue to buy our product and we continue to produce a large volume of grain sorghum for you to buy. Thank you, take care, and we look forward to having you back in Texas.